Hey there, welcome to a Paint With Me session where I'm painting my OC Zima in watercolors. So, I thought it'd be fun to start making videos again, so here I am. So I actually ended up getting a little shy, and so I ended up making a lot of my old videos private, but I guess let me know in the comments below if you want me to make like my old sketchbook tours public again or something, I don't know. Anyways, so back to this drawing. So when I first sketched this out, I had a vision, but after I sketched it, I forgot about it. I got busy and I kind of forgot what that vision was. All I remember was I wanted to use shiny watercolors in a warm palette. I also got a bit of inspiration from like um, idle photo cards, and that's kind of what I was going for with this piece. Except this piece is so much bigger than a photo card, but anyways, it's besides the point. But yeah, you could see me laying down like the base colors. I wanted it to be very warm tone, so I laid a couple reds and purples down. And as you can see, I have two watercolor palettes down. One is the Winsor Newton series that just kind of comes with all the colors, and the other one is a blank palette that I filled with a bunch of different brands because I was testing out the consistency of them. I really like the not chalky watercolors. So this one consists of mostly tube watercolor paints. Uh, it consists of Holbein, Winsor Newton, and Daniel Smith tubes. Hope I pronounced all of those right. I will say that my favorite are the Daniel Smith and Holbein. They kind of do live up to the hype in terms of how they feel and the colors, but they are on the pricier side, so I don't know. I've also worked with non-brand watercolors that are like really cheap that have worked just as well. So it's kind of hard to say, just kind of whatever feels right, I guess. Anyways, back to the drawing. So here I'm laying that second layer of paint to get that darker tone for skin. Um, with watercolors, it's really important to work light to dark, which I have a bad habit of. I'm not saying doing the opposite, but a little bit. I just have a heavy hand, so it's really good practice for me to layering. I just don't have the patience for it. But I recently got a heat gun, which I did a lot of the drying off camera just because one, the cord isn't long enough to show on camera, and two, didn't want to bore you guys with that. So we'll soon be getting into my favorite part, which is adding more makeup, more defining features like shadows and stuff like that. The blushies, my favorite, so cute. It can be a little tricky because if you leave it without blending, it'll kind of leave its mark on there. But if you don't leave it long enough, it won't stain the paper either. So it's kind of tricky. And then if it's too watery, it's gonna run everywhere and won't give you that soft look. So with this one, I kind of wanted more hard edges in certain spots and then soft like where that blush is right now. I actually think I made a little oopsies. I think I ended up putting a little too much on her nose and kind of lost some of that features on there, which I think I fixed later on. But yeah, here I am painting her clothes now, adding more details here and there. I couldn't remember what outfit I wanted her in. Not that it really matters because you don't really see most of it, but I kind of wung it here, I guess you could say. Kind of did whatever felt right. I just knew I wanted dark contrast to what was going to be her hair. And yay, finally adding little makeup, little lipstick. She's one of my favorite characters to draw just because I love glamming her up. She's so versatile in terms of like, I feel like I can experiment on her a lot more than my other OCs because I feel like they're kind of set versus her. It's kind of like, I can kind of do whatever. Her story isn't really there, I guess. So I can make her go through phases, I guess. See what works, see what doesn't. I've got to say, I'm really proud of how her eye makeup came out because that was really hard and I was really scared I had watered down the watercolors a little too much. And so I thought it was gonna bleed, but thankfully it didn't. And we're finally getting to her hair, starting to pull out some of those features, sharpen those edges, give it a little bit more definition, especially because I wanted it to be white, but I didn't want it to be white white. I wanted it to be the lightest color of that warm tone we had previously put down. And I know it's not really that noticeable on camera, but I did change her eye color. It used to be like green, now it's more of a grayish because she's based on a snow leopard and they have more grayish looking eyes. So, small change that I kind of like. Thought I'd mention for funsies. Anyways, now we're busting out the golds. These are the Kuretake pearlescent starry colors. I was so nervous getting to this part because I've never really done calligraphy and I'm not very good at writing. Like my handwriting's pretty bad. And so when I was trying to write her name, I used a kind of a flat brush to try to get some thin and thicker. It didn't quite turn out how I wanted it, but I think it's still pretty good. I kind of am satisfied with the outcome. I managed to keep it straight enough, and the thickness of the paints were pretty good. It wasn't too watered down, so that sheen really shone through. I just wanted to add cute little accent marks everywhere, little hearts everywhere. And I busted out the Poscas to bring out the highlights of her hair. Um, I don't know, I was having trouble. I don't know if it's the watercolor paper or if it was just my markers drying out, but it was kind of hard to get some of that paint to come out, and you can't even really notice a big difference. Um, but it did help a little bit, I think. Or at least I hope. There's certain areas like it just didn't work, but it's okay. All part of the process. I brought out the Prismacolor too to give her some highlights. My favorite part as well, adding those highlights everywhere and adding some texture. I'm not really a fan of um, colored pencils, but I do like using certain colors to either highlight or add a little texture here and there once pieces are done. It feels like it comes together better that way for me anyways. These are some of the other colors I used. I normally outline in multi-liner pens, um, but again, I wanted more of a soft look, so I busted out the Prismacolors for this. And I made sure not to use a dark color, like a brown instead of a black, for that softer look. And I think it worked out. And I know I keep saying it's my favorite part, but adding the details to the eyes is also my favorite part. And just seeing everything come together, I was like, okay, this is working, this is working. But I'm really happy how this turned out. Like, I'm really excited even just looking at it now, post painting. I'm glad I was able to finish it because I was worried it was just gonna be another sketch. Um, but yeah, like I love how her hair ended up turning out, and then I think I ended up darkening a bit of that background to make that hair pop out more. But her hair is something I'm still kind of trying to figure out. I don't really know exactly what it's doing, how the curls curl. It kind of just does its own thing, but I think it came out kind of nice. She looks really cute. Again, I'm really happy with the way the Prismacolor turned out, especially with some of those little textured lines. It really pulls the piece together. Here I go, busting out the paintbrush again. Oh yeah, so I actually messed this part up a little bit. I should have done this before I added the line art, but it's okay. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but the glitter on her like eyeshadow, I guess, I kind of messed it up, but it's okay. You can't really see it on camera, which is good. Um, Here I am trying to add a little bit more depth with the red, trying to bring out some of the shadows. Didn't want the red to be too overpowering though, because I have a lot more purples in there. So here I'm adding a little bit of texture, bringing out the highlights again. This time the white Posca pen was working, and you can actually see some of those details versus before. Maybe it's just because her hair was too light for it to be too noticeable. But yeah, that about wraps up this piece. I think I finished all the major details that I wanted to include. Here you can see a close-up of all the shiny aspects of it. I ended up giving her some jewelry too. My favorite part, again. Maybe the whole thing is just my favorite part, but love peeling that tape off. So satisfying. Sorry the camera angles aren't so great. I was trying to do this with one hand. But here we are, the finished piece. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope to see you guys again soon in the next video.